Hello TCG fans, my name is Brian. Welcome back to my channel, TCG I Choose You. Today I'm doing something a little different. I want to show off my Chaos Dragon or Twilight Dragon deck, whatever you want to call it. This is the deck that I've been using in my recent videos. If you've seen on my channel, I've used it against the Atlanteans deck and the Spellcasters deck, and it does pretty well. It is my main deck, it is my favorite deck, it's the one I've been working on the most. This is the extra deck, we'll go to that last. Start off with the main deck. Now, I'm going to organize this by lights and darks, so you can kind of get a feel of how the deck works, how a Chaos deck works. Not that I'm really any expert, but I don't know, I've been trying to get it. Okay, first off, are the boss monsters. Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Beginning, and Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. Both really powerful cards, really good cards to get out in the field. Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Beginning, you guys probably know, everyone knows this card. It can be special, or it has to be special summoned by banishing one light and one dark from your graveyard. And then when it's out in the field, it can use one of two effects. Either one, it could banish one monster your opponent controls, or it can do an attack for 3,000, and if it successfully destroys a monster with that 3,000, it can make a second attack. So it's a good way to set up OTKs. Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. He's a level 10 dark, which is pretty cool, and he could be special summoned by banishing one dragon I have in play, and during my main phases, I could special summon one dragon from either my hand or my graveyard. So he's a good way to swarm the field pretty quickly, and it's very effective. He's a 2800 beater. Next up, Light Pulsar Dragon. One of the stars of this deck. Light Pulsar Dragon also works on kind of the Chaos engine in that it could be special summoned by banishing one light and one dark from the graveyard. And he has some really cool effects, like other than special summoning from my hand, I could also special summon him from the graveyard by sending one light and one dark from my hand to the graveyard. It allows you to set up some really cool combos, you know, send a Light Pulsar from my hand to the graveyard to special summon a Light Pulsar, special summon that Light Pulsar. A lot of cool stuff, and another good effect is when he's sent from the field to the graveyard, if he doesn't miss timing, he could special summon one level 5 or higher dark dragon from the graveyard to the field. So it sets up what I guess is called the Light Pulsar loop, or Light Pulsar Red Eyes loop. If I have both these out on the field, and they're both sent to the graveyard, Light Pulsar's effect goes off and allows me to special summon Red Eyes right back to the field. And then in my main phase, I could use Red Eyes to special summon Light Pulsar right back to the field. It makes a set of cards that's pretty hard to get over, because you got a 25 and a 28. So you really got to be able to sweep my whole team in one turn to get rid of these guys. Next up for the darks, Dark Flare Dragon. Another little mini combo maker. He's pretty good. He's also special summoned by banishing one light and one dark from the graveyard, and I could send one dragon from my hand, one dragon from my deck to the graveyard, and then banish one card in either player's graveyard. And what that is good for is Eclipse Wyvern. Now, when Eclipse Wyvern is sent to the graveyard, he has an effect where I can banish one level 7 or higher Lart or Dragon type monster. And then when Eclipse Wyvern is banished from the graveyard, that card goes back to my hand. So let's say Eclipse Wyvern goes to the graveyard. I can send Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon out of play. And then I could banish Eclipse Wyvern with Light Pulsar, and send Red Eyes Darkness Metal back to the field by banishing Light Pulsar. And then I could use him to bring out Dark Flare Dragon or Light Pulsar Dragon. It is a pretty satisfying set of combos. As long as I have control over my graveyard, which doesn't always happen very well, but when it works, it surprises people. Next up, Chaos Sorcerer. Running 2 of those, namesake of the deck. He is, he's mainly good for getting over hard to get over, like monsters. He's only 2300 beater, but once per turn I can banish a card from the game. I can't attack with him that turn, but it does get cards out of play, plus he's a dark target. So he's not great for combos, but he's good for getting over cards. Next, 2 Judgment Dragon. I am running a Lightsworn engine here. That's how I get my cards milled into the graveyard. And I tried running 3 Judgment Dragons, but it would just clog up my hand and clog up my graveyard with lights. 2 is pretty good. And I'll explain how that card works coming up. 1, Kaios the Shadow Monarch. I've thought about taking this card out, but he's pretty good for doing tribute summons. If they have like a Vanity's Emptiness out, Kaios the Shadow Monarch kind of protects me there. Because I could summon him out to the field by tributing 1 monster, and then he has an effect that allows me to banish 1 card the opponent controls. Or any target. And I could banish that Vanity's Emptiness, or if he doesn't have one out and he has a dark monster out, I could banish that and it does 1000 damage to him directly. So this deck isn't all about special summoning. If I have to tribute summon, I got Kaios, and I got, you know, a lot of these can be tribute summoned too. Next up, Black Dragon Collapse Serpent and White Dragon Wyver Buster. This is another little baby chaos engine. It just gives me some extra dragons and extra ways to, you know, get my deck moving. Banish, maybe use a Black Dragon to banish Eclipse Wyvern to get something in my hand. Maybe use Wyver Buster to get Darkness Metal out. You know, it's just a few extra targets to have. You know, light and dark in the graveyard. That's what it's all about. Next up, Raiden, Hand of the Lightsworn, 3. That card is so good. He's a main phase mill and an end of turn mill, level 4 tuner. You can do all kinds of things with him. I could create good XCs like number 101 Silent Honor Arc. I can get a 4 like him, create a Stardust Dragon, get a level 3, create either Michael or Black Rose Dragon, nuke the field. He really gets things moving. He keeps this deck alive. I have 3 because it hurts when I don't get him in the first hand. You need to get him in the first hand, or else you're just kind of stuck with a dead hand. Minerva. Minerva also helps get things moving a little bit. When she's sent to the graveyard by card effect, you mill a card. She mills 2 at the end of the turn. She's a level 3 and a tuner. So, you know, again, these 2 get out Black Rose Dragon. Lumina. 2 Lumina. She is a searcher. When, well, a graveyard searcher, sorry. When I get her onto the field, I send 1 card to my hand, pull out Raiden from the graveyard, and right there's a Michael or Black Rose Dragon. Lila, just some back row hate. She, when I normal summon her and attack, destroy 1 spell or trap, put her in defense. Protects my life points, gets rid of whatever they might have in their back row I don't like. And mills. She mills at the end of the turn too. Erin. She's mostly to have another name. This is for Judgment Dragon. Now, I guess I could talk about this now. Judgment Dragon can be special summoned, or has to be special summoned from the hand, by having 4 Lightsworns with different names in the graveyard. He is a very, very powerful card. He's called Broken. I don't know if I'd necessarily call him broken, because he's not very splashable. You need to have the Light Sworns. But during my main phase, I could pay 1,000 life points, completely nuke the field of every card but himself, and then use a 3,000 beater. And that is not a once-a-turn effect. You can keep nuking the field as much as you want, until you're down to 1,000 life points. Alright, oh, also with Erin, she attacks the defense position, it gets sent into the hand, or no, back into the deck, sorry, getting distracted. So she protects me from flip effects. Raikou. Raikou, again, he's mostly as another name and a light target, but he can also get over those, hard to remove cards. As long as the card can be targeted when he's flipped, I target one card and destroy it. So it helps me get over those very powerful cards they might have. And then, after that, he mills 3 cards. So, gets things moving. Next, Shaddoll Dragon. I love Shaddoll Dragon. I run 2 of him. He's a flip effect and a mill effect. When he's flipped, I could return 1 card back to the hand. So he's good at getting rid of synchros and Xyz monsters they might have. Flip, send that back to the hand. And also, when you sent to the graveyard by card effect, milled, then I could destroy a back row. So, he's a multi-use card, and he's pretty good, and a dark target. Gores. 2 Gores. I cannot tell you how much I love Gores. He's a level 7 and a dark. When I take battle damage directly, I could special summon Gores from my hand, and then special summon a token that's also level 7, and it equals the damage I took. So let's say I take 2,500 damage, send Gores from my hand, he's 2,700, then special summon a token that's 25 attack and defense. So he's a good way to rebuild up my my field again. And also being level 7, he allows me to get to a certain card in my extra deck I'll get to. Honest. I run enough lights in here to run Honest. If you're gonna run a significant number of lights, you gotta run Honest. He's a very good card. Not only is he a light target and a level 4 for good Xyz and synchros, but if I have him in my hand and they attack a light, I could drop him into the graveyard and it adds the attack of his monster to mine. I could also do that during my turn, but it's not as funny. Effect Veiler. This card's also pretty cool. He's a quick effect from the hand. I drop him into the graveyard during my opponent's turn, and I negate one of their monster's effects. So it really helps out in the metagame where monster effects are kind of what get the game going. So let's say it's their first turn. I have Effect Veiler in my hand. They summon a card that allows them to summon another card from their deck, and they're going to use that to either synchro or Xyz. I just drop Effect Veiler, and they're stuck with just that monster out on the field. 2 Necrogardna, another good multi-use. He is a level 3 for Black Rose Dragon or whatever, rank 3 Xyz I might have. Dark target, and I could banish him from the graveyard and negate an attack. Alright. Let's move these up. And get to my back row. 2 Charge of the Light Brigade. Thanks to the new ban list. Yes. You guys know this card. Send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard, add 1 level 4 or lower Light Sworn monster from your deck to your hand. I normally use it to, start off the milling, of course, and then hopefully at this point, if I got Raiden in the first hand, he'll be in the graveyard. I bring out a Lumina, I send Lumina to the field, and, bring Raiden to the field, and I got my Synchro. Mass Change second. My Troll card. So I got Necrogardna, I got Shaddoll Dragon, and I'll show you what I can do with this. MST. Get those hard to reach places. If they got a card out that prevents me from using My monster's effects prevents me from special summoning. Just Mystical Space Typhoon. Monster Reincarnation. Simple 1-for-1. Just, well, I guess it's a 2-for-1. But, you know, I'm trading one card for another in the graveyard. Soul Recharge. Yeah, just, discard one Light Sworn, draw 2 cards, mill 2 cards. It's a pretty good way to set up the graveyard and get cards in my hand. My only trap is a Breakthrough Skill. There's not many traps that work well from the graveyard. Breakthrough Skill does. I can banish it from the graveyard during my main phase and negate the effects of one effect monster on the field. Alright. Now, let's get to my extra deck. Alright, my extra deck probably isn't as useful. There's a lot of cards in here I never use. I just put them in to fill it up, you know, just in case. For example, Granosaurus. It's the only rank 3 I have, really. Well, I got one other one, I just don't like it as much. Since I have a lot of level 3 monsters, Granosaurus, it's a 2000 beater, and if it successfully destroys a monster, it does 1000 damage to the opponent directly when I detach a material, so. Number 101, Silent Honorarch. This card is amazing. I detach 2 Xyz materials, and I target 1 special summon monster my opponent controls in attack position, and I attach to this. So it's a good way to get rid of a card they worked very hard to put out in the field. And it's kind of funny because it's only 2100 attack, so it's kind of a waste for them. Utopia. This card's okay, just because I got a lot of level 4s in here. 2500 beater. That's about it. You know, I could detach 1 material to negate 1 attack. Doesn't come up very often. Starliege Paladinamo. There we go. Another card I don't use very often. Detach 2 materials and target 1 face-up monster and its attack becomes 0. Its effects are negated too, blah blah blah. I guess it could help. I don't use it very often. I don't get into my extra deck very often except for a few cards. Greedy Saramea, never used it, just put it in here because it's a rank 5 and I have my Dark Flares, so I'm not even sure what it does. Let me read it. Your opponent takes any effect damage you would have taken from the card effects. Instead, when this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can detach 1 material from this card, destroy all monsters in the field whose attack is less than or equal to the original attack. Yeah, probably not going to use it very much. Probably going to replace it with another one. Volcasaurus. Very, very good card to have. A card I was very excited to pull again. Once per turn, detach 1 material, target 1 face-up monster my opponent controls, destroy that monster, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the destroyed monster's original attack. Pretty cool card. This would be the one I would use Dark Flare to pull out. Utopia Beyond, rank 6. A card well, I don't use it very often, but when I do, it definitely saves my ass. Because when I pull him out, the attack of all my opponent's monsters becomes 0, and it really turns the tide in the game. He also has a material effect. It's kind of useless. It involves having a Utopia in the graveyard, which no one does, ever. Frozen Lady Justice. Never used her either. Just another way to fill up my extra deck. Let's see what she does. You can also special summon blah blah, 1 rank 5, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Okay, this card gains 1000 attack for each Xyz material attached to it. Once returned, detach 1 material from this card, destroy all defense position monsters your opponent controls. Big Eye. This is what I can use Gourds to get. This guy is basically a free snatch still, and a dark target. He is really cool. Once per turn, you detach 1 Xyz material from this card, target 1 monster your opponent controls, take control of that monster. This card cannot attack the turn you activate this effect. So, even if they don't have a monster I want, it's still a 2600 attack, so yeah, it's a good card to have if you can pull it out. Alright, new print. Blackwing, Nathung, the Starlight. I put 2 of these in here because I really love this card. It's a good burn card. If this card is special summoned, inflict 800 damage to your opponent. Then one face-up monster you control, or one face-up monster your opponent controls loses 800 attack and defense. Yeah, I put 2 of these in here. It's because it's a level 6, and I have lots of. I got my 2 Minervas and a lot of level 3s in here, so I like this card. Black Rose Dragon. Black Rose Dragon. This is my Dark Hole, only better. I would like to put another one of these in here. It's a level 7 synchro. I can get it out pretty easily. And when he summoned, the instant he summoned, I nuke the field. And that does include himself too. But it is still pretty good for getting rid of, a full field they might have. So, everything goes to the graveyard, and it's the instant he is summoned, so unless they have a way to negate the summon, it still happens, even if they use, even if they Dark Hole it, because it has to be summoned for Dark Hole to work. So it still removes everything. 2 Michaels, really good card. Get some milling done, pay 1,000 points to banish any card on the field, not just a monster. And he's a 2,600. Got 2 of him, and I can also use these to make my Big Eye, wherever he is. And finally, Dark Law. This is what the mass change is for. If you have a deck where you could put Dark Law in it, I would recommend doing it. This guy shuts off the opponent's graveyard, and whenever they search a card out from their deck, add to their hand outside of the draw phase and the damage step, you get to banish 1 random card from their hand. It really kills some decks. I have won games because of this guy alone. He is really good. So, that is my Chaos Dragon, or Twilight Dragon, whatever you want to call it. And this deck, it's not as consistent as I would like it to be, but it still works. My guess is that it's because it's 45 cards. I'm having a lot of trouble bringing it down to 40, because every card in here has its use, and I don't want to part with any card in here, but even at 45, it still kills. I really, really like it. And the only decks I really have trouble with are like Burning Abyss and some Pendulum decks like Qliphorts. If I can't get out my Dark Law when I'm facing Qliphorts, I'm pretty much screwed. But yeah, that is my deck. Thanks for watching.